Alright, this is my look at this kind of big, powerful electric chainsaw, and I just thought I'd start by comparing it to just a couple of my other chainsaws. This is a smaller electric pole saw, and one thing I would emphasize is that just because your chainsaw is electric does not mean it's wimpy. These electric chainsaws actually, when sharp, can do a lot of cutting. And this is a pole saw, so you get a big reach. This here is this electric chainsaw, which I'll talk about in more detail. And then here is my gas-powered Echo, and I've got an Echo and a Husqvarna. Note that the bar is the same size as on this electric chainsaw. The benefit of this guy obviously is cutting power and mobility. I can take this anywhere on the property and cut wood, whereas this guy I'm always bound to the electric cord. This is a pretty heavy saw in comparison to this one. It's a little bit lighter, but you still need to be strong to be able to hold this saw and wield this saw. One other comparison, all chainsaws that are gas powered have a manual shutoff, so if you hit your work it'll shut it off. This has a handguard but no shutoff, so there's no emergency shutoff if your chainsaw tips up. So I think they're just a little bit more dangerous than a gas-powered chainsaw. You might think an electric chainsaw is safer, but without that shutoff feature, it's actually a little bit more dangerous, at least in my opinion. Alright, and then here's just an overview of the saw. This is your oil compartment. You need to put oil in this to lubricate your bar, and you'll just need to get some chainsaw oil, and you'll find that at your hardware store for lubricating the bar. Again, it's not motor oil, but it's lubricant. Your power switch is this big guy, and it has this safety button here, so if you have to push both at once to get them to engage. And this is your chain tensioner, and I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see it because it's a little bit funky. That's the chain tensioner, and what's funky about it is that this is loosened to the left and tightened to the right as far as chain tension, but these are in Chinese characters, so and in the instructions it's not clear what you do here, but this right here just loosens your chain tension, and this tightens up your chain tension. You need to have your chain at a proper tension. If it's too tight, it'll bind up. If it's too loose, it'll fly off. Loosen these two screws to put your bar on. If you haven't used a chainsaw before, you should probably watch some videos about how it works. And that's about it. One other thing, it does in the manual say that there's a button to move your oil onto your chain, but I haven't seen that button. I don't think it's this one, so I'm not exactly sure about that, but with oil in the tank, it does seem to lube the chain pretty well. So I'll just oil it up and then show you some cutting with this chainsaw. And then after just a little bit of cutting, the chain's gotten a little bit loose. That's pretty normal because chains will stretch out. So to tighten it up, you just loosen these two bolts, and this tool comes with it. Actually, any chainsaw you buy, you always need a chainsaw tool like this one. And then to tighten up that bar, you just crank this, and you can see that chain got tighter. You don't want it too tight, but that's pretty good. It's got some give in there, and then tighten up your bolts, and it is good to go. And you can see with oil dripping out, it is dripping onto the chain, I think, so I think it's getting some lubrication. Alright, so that's the saw, and you can see it's starting to get oiled up a little bit, so I'm not too worried about that blade having some oil on it, and it cuts pretty well.